Imagine a world where English speakers always said exactly what they meant. No polite smiles, no vague promises. Your manager wouldn't say, "That's an interesting idea." They would look you in the eye and say, "I do not like this idea, but I need 3 seconds to think of a response." English would be incredibly easy to understand. It would also be absolutely terrifying. In the real world, people rarely deliver the brutal truth. They wrap it in something softer. But that softness creates a trap for anyone learning the language. Taking these polite deflections literally leads to some deeply uncomfortable situations. Fluency lives in the logic of the social interaction, not just the definitions in a dictionary. To navigate it, you have to decipher a hidden social code. Meet Alex. He studied English for years, knows the grammar, and firmly believes a word means exactly what the dictionary says it means. On Monday, he asks a friend if they want to go to a concert on Friday. The friend responds with a hesitant, "Maybe." Alex hears a mathematical probability. Since it isn't a no, he buys 2 tickets, plans a dinner route, and arrives at the venue with 1 ticket in his hand and the other still in his pocket. The friend never confirms and never shows up. The word maybe wasn't a lie. It was a softened rejection. This raises a difficult question. How can you tell the difference between a genuine possibility and a polite refusal? The next week, Alex's friends are planning a weekend trip. He asks one of them if they're coming and gets the response, "We'll see." This timeline shows how Alex processes that answer. He assumes the decision is open, so he reserves a larger hotel room, adds a seat to the car, and plans out a minute-by-minute itinerary. Then the weekend arrives, and attendance completely flatlines. The friend never arrives. "We'll see" can mean, "I need more information." But when it's followed by total silence and zero action, the answer is already hiding inside that silence. It's a no that simply hasn't been spoken out loud. Then the stakes get higher. Alex goes to work and pitches a project to his manager. He finishes, looks up, and the manager says, "That's interesting." Alex hears praise and begins planning the next stage. 3 days pass and nobody mentions the idea again. The manager wasn't complimenting him. They were using a diplomatic stalling tactic to avoid a direct disagreement. This is the reality of the professional workplace. Positive-sounding words can carry a neutral reaction or even a negative one. At lunch, the trap flips in the opposite direction. A coworker tries Alex's homemade food and says, "Not bad." Alex freezes. He spent 2 hours cooking, and he assumes "not bad" means almost terrible. But then the coworker finishes the entire plate and asks for seconds. Here, negative words were actually used to express genuine praise. That evening, Alex runs into an old acquaintance at a cafe. As they part ways, the acquaintance says, "Let's do this again sometime." Alex immediately pulls out his phone to lock in next Thursday, or Friday. He completely corners the acquaintance, who is just trying to leave. "Let's do it sometime" is a warm ending to a conversation, a social exit ritual. It isn't a literal request to check schedules. The trap is now complete. Positive words can hide rejection, negative words can hide approval, and vague plans are often just a polite goodbye. English speakers aren't doing this to be deceptive. Indirect phrases exist for social reasons. They reduce pressure, avoid embarrassment, and give the listener a gentle way out of a potential conflict. To navigate this, you can filter every interaction through 3 specific categories: specificity, energy, and follow-up. First, look for specificity. Does the person offer a real day or time? Then, observe energy, how their facial expressions and vocal tone align with their words. Finally, check for follow-up. What happens after the conversation ends? Do they send a text, suggest a next step, or take a physical action? Words merely introduce a potential meaning. It is the subsequent actions that confirm the truth. Let's apply these 3 filters to a few social mysteries. Situation 1. Maybe Saturday plus a confirmation text equals a real possibility. Situation 2. That's interesting, followed by an immediate pivot, reveals diplomatic hesitation. Situation 3. Saying "not bad" while finishing the food. Physical action overrides negative words, confirming a genuine compliment. When you filter conversations through these 3 layers, everyday interactions stop feeling like unsolvable puzzles. If English speakers always said exactly what they meant, conversations would be easier. They would also be uncomfortably harsh and cold. Alex doesn't panic anymore. He doesn't rely entirely on his dictionary. He reads the room, and the social context finally makes sense. A literal dictionary can get you to the conversation, but understanding the intention behind the words keeps you in it. Subscribe to uncover more everyday English mysteries hiding in plain sight.